Hi guys, this is Chet here from Avion Technology here in the Chicagoland area. We are a web design digital agency. We work with other digital agencies, other small businesses, and essentially we help them scale up, right? So most of our clients are actually small business owners, folks who do like between $500,000 to $1 million worth of revenue. And one of the topics that we usually take is small business success, and how can small business owners prep for their success. Now, how did this come about? It actually came about from my own experiences, right? I've been doing this almost for the last 20 years, and in the initial years I actually did not have a coach, I did not have a mentor. So I think for the first 5 to 10 years I actually did a lot of things by trial and error, and I realized that it was a little bit like crossing the desert, right? You don't have a map and you're just figuring out your way. And it need not be that arduous, it need not be that stressful if you actually have a map of how to cross the desert. The first 5 years of any business usually extremely tough. I think there's some statistic which says that 97% of the businesses fail within the first 3 years, and there's usually a reason for that. Why? Because we start businesses out of passion, out of love, and out of this romance, out of this kind of vague idea of where we want to be after 10-20 years. What we do not realize is how difficult it is to actually start and sustain a business. So the first thing I always recommend, always, is get a business coach, get a business mentor, someone who's crossed the desert, someone who's crossed the pathway before you do, because that person will give you a very good roadmap of how you can get there, right? So if you're watching this, if you've been in business for the last 3 to 5 years, 10 years, if you're struggling, the first thing I would recommend is get a mentor. Secondly, when you get a mentor, chances are that he or she will leverage their social network with you. Business at the end of the day happens because of social networks, right? It happens because of contacts. People do business with you because they like you and trust you, right? Your product, your service comes after that. So if someone refers you to their social network, you come with a certain sense of trust, you come with a certain sense of validation, right? And then that kind of helps to open doors. Today I'm going to talk about something else. It's literacy, right? Someone said that knowledge is power. I 100% believe in that. The more educated you are, the more knowledgeable about things that you are, the more you increase of your chances of becoming successful at something, right? Fortunately or unfortunately, a lot of small business owners need to be generalists. So they're usually good at one thing, but they also have blind spots about other things or other situations, right? And usually we get into accidents because of our blind spots, right? Areas that we thought we had covered but we did not, or areas that we can't see when we're driving, right? So today I'm going to talk about some of these blind spots. So number one, if you are in a small, and by the way, I am not a lawyer, I'm not a CPA, I am not an HR specialist, I'm a technologist. All of this is based on my experience, and this is just a conversation. If you need specific financial legal advice, please meet a specialist for that. None of this is financial or legal advice, right? The first thing, have a lawyer, have an attorney on your side, and know the basics of contracts, contract law, right? What constitutes an offer, what constitutes a consideration, what constitutes an acceptance. You should know these things. I think there's the UCC and the common law. There's two kind of branches of contracts law. You should know that. So this is like basic stuff, not at a very high level. You don't need to go to law school for this. You can watch videos on YouTube, but you should know the basics of contracts laws, right? When your lawyer drafts your contracts, right, you should be able to read them, and you should be able to kind of be able to place them in some kind of a context, right? Second is finance. You should know the basics of bookkeeping, the basics of accounting, double entry bookkeeping, right? You should know the basics of mercantile or accrual based accounting, right? Because accounting is the language of business, and if you don't know P&L, if you don't know balance sheet, if you don't know a cash flow statement, right, you're going to have a tough time running your business. Same for taxes. Again, have a CPA on your side. The CPA is going to make sure that you are complying with all the federal, the state taxes, all these different laws. Also have an insurance person, right? Know the basic insurance. What is the errors and omission insurance? What is the property insurance? Know how the whole insurance market works, because in any business things can go wrong, and usually it's something that is out of your control that comes and hits you. And if you do not have that wall of insurance which is buffering you, that hurricane or that tsunami can come and hit you and wipe you out of business, right? Next is HR, compliances. Know what the basic compliances for HR are, at a federal level and a state level, right? Know the questions that you cannot ask during an interview. Know what posters you need to put up in your store, you need to put up in your garage. What are those different things that you need to do to make sure that you're in compliance with HR? And finally is tech, right? Website and programming. Know the basics of website. Know what is WordPress. Know what is SEO. Know what is search. What is social media marketing, right? Know all these basics. It would also not hurt to know a little bit of programming, right? You don't need to know object-oriented programming, but a little bit of procedural programming, if you know it, it's only going to help you, not hurt you. Ever since the pandemic, even before that, but ever since the pandemic, the information asymmetry has grown, and businesses that harness technology are now going to start taking a lot of market share from businesses that do not have technology on their side. So, there's legal literacy, financial literacy, HR literacy, and tech literacy, right? Make sure that you are literate on all these four fronts. Again, I think running a small business is extremely difficult. People underestimate how difficult it is to run, to sustain, to grow, and to scale up a small business. So if you're doing that, first of all, kudos to you, and wishing you more and more success. If you like this channel, press like button. If you want to subscribe, press subscribe. These are my coordinates. Give me a shout. Avion Technology here in the Chicagoland area, northwest suburbs. Hoping you have an awesome 2024.